So this is the Economist's forecast, and right now their model thinks that Joe Biden is likely to beat Donald Trump in the Electoral College. They give Joe Biden a chance of around 6 in 7 or 85% chance of winning the Electoral College, and they give Trump a 1 in 7 or around 15% chance of winning the Electoral College. They give Joe Biden the chance of winning most votes better than 19 in 20 or 97%, and they give Donald Trump less than 1 in 20 chance or 3% chance of winning the most votes. Their predicted Electoral College votes for Joe Biden is between 209 and 421, which is a pretty big range. And for Trump, it's between 117 on the low end and 329 on the high end, which again is a very big range, especially considering you need 270 to win, which means that both of them have the opportunity, according to the Economist's model, of winning this election. Though, again, they give Biden an 85% chance of doing so against Trump's 15%. They then have this neat little graph over here, which is updated every day and combines state and national polls with economic indicators to predict a range of outcomes. And the midpoint is the estimate of Electoral College vote for each party on the election day. And as you can see, back in April, Biden was beating Trump at around 300 Electoral College votes to Trump's estimated 239 Electoral College votes. And their model has sort of drifted around, and Biden's generally been increasing his share. By May, Biden was at 323 to 215. Again, in April, he was at 299 to 239. By June, Biden is at 337 votes to Trump's 201. By July, Biden's at 351 to Trump's 187. By August, Biden's at 353 votes to Trump's 186, so it's sort of flatlined there. And September's come around, and it's narrowing a little bit. Biden's at 340 votes to Trump's 198 votes. You can also see the chances of winning. And again, back in April, Trump was favored with about a 40% chance of winning, Biden at 62%. It's since drifted. Biden's been up as high as sort of 90% there against Trump's 10%, sort of between July and August. And right now it's sitting at closer to Biden at 85% against Trump at 15%. So it sort of drifted up for Trump by 5%. They also run a series of Electoral College simulations. Their model works by simulating 20,000 paths for the election, varying the candidates' vote shares to account for polling error and changes in turnout or the political environment and the effect of campaigning. And the bars below represent the predicted likelihood of each plausible electoral vote outcome. And you can see that Biden wins 85% of the time here, and with varying vote totals between 269 and 469, I guess between 270 technically, and 469, and Trump wins about 15% of the time, between that 270 and 369 votes. Here's their map, which is their most interesting take, obviously. Their model combines the national prediction with polls and political economic factors at the state level. They take into account that states that are similar are likely to move with each other. So if Donald Trump wins in Minnesota, he'll probably win in Wisconsin too. And as you can see, it's pretty predictable. The coastal states are sort of either safe or very likely, mostly actually safe for Joe Biden. So all these sort of northeast coastal states, as well as the northwest and southwest coastal states, are all firmly in the Biden camp, very safe, according to their model. And then sort of the middle of the map has a series of safe Trump seats. They give Texas as well. Donald Trump a 71% chance of winning Texas, and they give Florida with around a 70% chance to Joe Biden. But crucially, in the sort of the center of the map, we have our Rust Belt states here, and along with, I think, many of the other maps that you've probably seen, you'll see that the Rust Belt here is given to Biden, with between very likely and likely in the Rust Belt, Wisconsin being likely, with an 84% chance that Joe Biden wins, and Minnesota being at 89%, Michigan at 87% chance he wins, according to these models anyway, and Illinois, they give a 19 out of 20 chance, better than that Joe Biden wins. Of course, Joe Biden's hometown of Pennsylvania, he has a 79% chance of winning as well. So the Rust Belt is given over to Joe Biden, and that's what sort of pushed him above that 270 to win. Florida as well is a huge boon for Biden, as you can see. So if Trump then were to get Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona, all toss-up states, and people tend to think Arizona's going to lean blue, then and then he got Florida as well, then he'd be about maybe about 10 electoral college votes away from winning. So I think that could be a plausible thing, but Florida is the linchpin there, and Joe Biden currently is favored, according to the this model, to win in Florida. They also have the popular vote each day, but of course the popular vote is not really how you win the election. To win the election, you have to win those 270 electoral college votes, which is more about winning enough states with enough electoral college votes, and not really about winning high population areas. But as you can see, in April, Biden was at about 53% of the popular vote against Trump's about 47%. By May, Biden's at 54 against Trump's 46. By June, Biden's at 54 against Trump's 46, so sort of stagnated. Here, by July, Biden's at 55% of the popular vote against Trump at 45%. By August, Biden's at 54.8% against Trump's 45.2%. By September, Biden's at 54.3% of the popular vote, predicted by these models and polls, and in this case polls, and Trump's at 45.7% of the popular vote. And our latest sort of results are Biden sitting at around 53.9% of the popular vote against Trump's 46.1% of the popular vote. And their prediction by election day is that those figures are going to drift to about 53.2% for Biden of the popular vote against Trump's 46.8%. But again, you can win the election and lose the popular vote. And that all depends on the electoral college math that we saw up here. So if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see here the polls that they've used to put these together. And you can see that all the polls show a Democrat lead of between sort of 6.5% and 13% in all of these polls. And if you go back down to earlier polls, you see all of the polls appear to show, at least in the popular vote, that the Democrats have a lead between sort of 8 and 13% usually, though some will show a much larger lead. And these polls are going sort of back in time. But you can see that all the polls show a Democrat lead, without exception practically, I think, except for this very old poll back here by Change Research, or CNBC, which took place on February the 4th, or April the 3rd, to April the 3rd. And then they have a correlation map down here, but basically with this site, what you want to see is this map here. And you want to know which of the safe seats, which do they see is very likely, uncertain. So they have North Carolina and Georgia as uncertain. Georgia with a less than 2 and 3 or 59% chance of a Trump win, and North Carolina with about a 54% chance that Joe Biden's going to win, according to their model. And the value of the state, or the amount of electoral college votes that the state gives to the candidate, can be seen in the size of the bubbles. In this graph, so obviously California, with its massive population, will give that 55 electoral votes for whoever wins. In this case, Biden. That's a safe seat for Biden. And so what you really want to be looking at with these maps is what's going on in the Rust Belt and what's going on in Florida. So let's just take a look here just once more. Minnesota, Joe Biden win, 89% chance, according to this model. Wisconsin, Joe Biden win, 84% chance. Michigan, Joe Biden win, 87% chance. Illinois, Joe Biden win with a greater than 99% chance. Pennsylvania, Joe Biden win with a 79% chance. And finally, Florida, a Joe Biden win with about a 70% chance. So that's what the model looks like by The Economist, and thanks for watching.